What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, Leanne. We are on Heart-Based Community Podcast number 25. And now that's really funny because I'm born on the 25th. And I have an amazing friend here today with me, Shraddha Nanda. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Leanne. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so community. I talk all the time, and I have a guest with me that I met at the Lakshmi Mandir. Actually, we met at Sharpali's house, and then we kept meeting at Lakshmi Mandir, but we are both devotees of Lord Shiva, and it's the month of Shravan or Shravan? Shravan month. I've been on my journey with Shiva probably my whole life that I know that now, and I've realized where he's had his marking in pillars and fragrance and divine calling to me. And I've been putting that all together a lot more in the last couple of years. And on this journey, while I've been on this journey, I've done a lot of seva, a lot of bhakti, a lot of every aspect of yoga to reach samadhi. And samadhi in yoga is the 8th limb that we reach. So who's our great yogi? The Adi yogi, Lord Shiva. So if you haven't studied about Lord Shiva, you don't know anything about Lord Shiva yet, I highly recommend to get your big listening ears in while we share some information that we're learning, we're sharing, and we're offering to you here, the Heart-Based Community Podcast at Blissed Out Podcast. So, Shraddha, I have some information here that we're going to go between in our screen. Audience, just so you see also, we have Shravan, the Shravan Mass, and all the different beautiful information that our dear friend Shraddha has got. And I quickly just went on social media just to look at some beautiful things about what is to expect. And on this amazing full moon of Guru Purnima, what a great time to talk about it with these special effects.
Great. Yeah. Such an auspicious time, such an auspicious beginning. We're so excited. Like, we just had a beautiful aarti today at the temple. It was mesmerizing. And yes, tonight we are officially beginning into the 5th month, Hindu month of Shravan. And this month holds so many tales, but one of the most important ones is that Ma Parvati, prayed wholeheartedly in this month, fasted and prayed to attain Lord Shiva as her husband. And so a lot of married women and men do fast, or unmarried women and men fast to attain boon, or just have, be in bliss with Lord Shiva, attain his blessings. So,
well, I can say the greatest thing that I've realized in awakening the inner Shiva Shakti and recognizing that it's always been there, but there's so much more to experiencing the divine power, how our body gets ready for it, how our soul gets ready for it, how we have the glimpse of that which is not Mahadev, Shambho, Shiva, and all the amazing history that we have the opportunity to grow and learn and share. A couple points that I put down here from Google Baba, that cool Babaji. I see the whole universe is working in accordance with getting us as much as knowledge and exchange of energy now more than ever. So when we see the Google and we see our expansion of connecting to each other, great wisdom, great consciousness, I see Shiva. And so it's Google Baba for me, something that's changed my life a long time ago. And intuitively, I was aware that my inner Atma was telling me there's great things coming through this and how to use this vast wisdom in front of us, these machines. Yeah. So why someone in 2 months in 2023? All you want to know this year, the month of Sawan starts from July 4th, Tuesday, and go on to August 31st, Thursday. The 7 will be special this time, as after a long gap of 19 years, the auspicious time of Shravan, which will last for 2 months, is due to the Adhik Shravan Mass. Do you know anything about that? Do you know what that is?
Yes, so this just meant that we will have 2 months and 8 Mondays to pray rather than just one. And this is this long duration of sadhana of worshipping Shiva is coming to us after a long duration of 19 years. So Adhik Mas means one more.
Okay, so does that mean it's usually like 2 weeks and now it's 2 months, or what's going on?
It's like usually 1 month. Shravan Mas, 1 month. Mas means month. So there's just 2 months to it now.
Shiva is giving us so much love, universe. Come on, people now. This is the time for Shiva. Chop, chop. Get in this. Get in the game with us. So what is special?
I feel like the whole consciousness is rising. We are moving into another consciousness as a collective. I think collectively, the consciousness of every being is being elevated. Everybody is just drawn towards this Shakti. It's beautiful.
I agree. And there's a lot of fast transformation. I know when I started seeing the ripple effect, I was like, every corner, everywhere I'm going. But the thing is, I also know that I draw in the things that I think of. So it's great to be thinking of Shiva, drawing Shiva into my life more and more, drawing the energy in, drawing the opportunities to look at the soul in each other.
Yeah.
Right. So what is special about this month is also referred to as the month of Shravan, is considered an extremely auspicious month. Someone comes to India with the one set of monsoon, which is considered very auspicious and special for agricultural and harvest. Shravan month is dedicated to Lord Shiva. So that's something else that was on Google. These are a couple quick things, audience, if you're watching, and I know you're going to love this because I'm going to make a Shiva Shakti group and get it out to as many people as we can. Now, talking about fasting, there's so many different aspects to fasting, and I've been having these conversations with people about the importance of fasting. My personal experience is that it should be natural. And why am I saying that? Because I've had many years of my life where I've fasted, and, obviously there's always a benefit. But if you're in flow and you feel devotion, fasting and longing to fast happens naturally. And these are just reminders, is like, you got to listen, you got to tap in, get tuned in and turned on into you so that you're aware of feeling natural. If it doesn't feel natural, the devotion and the bhakti and the depth, it will be good practice, but I highly recommend, I think after the last couple of years of my personal experiences, the excitement of sacrificing anything to learn more or to feel more, it should come natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you have the bhav, or once you have the feeling, like in my journey in my life, I place a lot of importance on what is my intent or what am I doing. So when it comes to the intent, the bhav, the love, the devotion, it becomes, yes, and that's when it becomes natural. It makes in fasting in itself, yes, it takes a little bit of discipline at your end to execute it because of the mind, the distractions of the mind. But I think the discipline also comes when there is the intent is of love. Like it flows naturally when you want to love, when you want to feel more awakened, when you want to feel more conscious of your day, of your breath, of your working, everything.
Mm.
So yeah, and also Shravan, Shravan, one of the meaning of Shravan is also to hear. So one of the ways we practice consciousness at every moment is also through listening, observing, and what better than listening to our own thoughts, but also with now with this month, also all the tales of Shiva, all the teachings of Shiva, all the mantras of Shiva. So we can have that Shravan mantras as well. So that's what I'm also looking forward to this month.
Well, I was really enjoying after the temple having some wonderful prasadam with my good friend Shraddha, And then her devotion, her bhakti was so impressive. We were talking about the things that she was reading in a Purana. What was the Purana you were reading?
So I was reading Bhavishya Purana.
Maybe highlight a little bit about that, and then we'll get into what you've written here too, because I want to talk a little bit about what you've got here. It's on the screen, but why don't you just tell a little bit what we were reading today?
So it was a small snippet about how one was after the war of Kurukshetra, the Lord Shiva told them they would be reincarnating again as different kings, and they would be fighting again from the evil and the demons again on their level from dharma and adharma. So what interested me over here is not just their incarnation and their fight and perseverance against adharma, but also that what is our meaning of why we took birth, why did we come to this earth? So in those questions, and when I read about these scriptures, I think every day is a story. Every day holds a meaning, and every act that we do, if we put consciousness into it, we would realize on what scale we are. And it's a continuous learning for all of us.
Well, your pronunciation, your broad mind, and the beauty of your soul and the things that you're doing for yourself daily, they're really showing in your articulation and to the audience right now. I really appreciate that about you. So yeah, let's talk here. What is this? According to the Vedic astrology, when the sun enters the Leo zodiac sign, the Shravan mass begins. So talk about this.
Yeah, so this is also that, there's a Shravan Nakshatra, that is the birth star of Lord Vishnu. So according to Vedic astrology, when sun enters the Leo zodiac sign, that's when Shravan Mass begins. It's the fifth Hindu month. And also I was reading here so it says that Shravan Purnima, the full moon day in Shravan Mass, coincides with the nakshatra, that's the birth star of Lord Shri Mahavishnu, and that is why that Lord Vishnu is also worshipped in this month. So yeah, that's about it. And we already covered that it's very extra and special because of its rare occurrence after 19 years.
Mm.
I think
So we have
and yes, we have many festivals coming up in this month. We have our very favorite Janmashtami.
July is what day is it?
I'm not sure about the date, but we would have Janmashtami, Nag Panchami, and also Raksha Bandhan in this month.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a month. You know, what I love about Hindu culture is how colorful and how there's always a beautiful divine practice to do, which is changing throughout the calendar, where you get to discover more aspects of the divine creation from Shiva and Shakti and the expansions of the Trimurti, which if listeners don't know what that is, that's, Brahma, Maheshwara, Ishvara. And the trinity of that expansion is continually expanding. And it's so interesting. I mean, throughout my whole life, anybody who's coming into a heart-based community podcast or is interested and drawn into the heart, what do we find in the heart? What do we get in the heart when we are connected to the divine? In Hinduism, I've seen the bhavs, I've seen the ecstasy, I've seen my whole body in full bliss of what we understand Shiva to be, Satchit Ananda, truth, consciousness, and bliss. So the mirroring effect of these wisdoms are offering us new gateways in experiencing human life in new ways. And the calendar year in Hinduism, there's so much color, there's so much depth, there's so much love. So I highly recommend anybody out there that's not even educated about Shiva, to come out to a temple, come out and learn, or come out and sit, because the most beautiful thing when you don't know the language is that we all have feelings.
Yeah.
We can all tell, we can all feel the vibration and these places, these These places are just like home. I'm sitting in my home. I have a vibration within me and without me. And what is practiced in my environment energetically, I'm picking up on, right? So the beautiful thing, and people always say, well, why do you go to a temple? Your body's a temple. You are a temple. And I said, it's interesting because for 10 years, I left temples and I went into the forest and I spent a lot of time with nature in my aloneness and silence. But what I learned, and I relearn all the time, is in the calling of reflection. So when you have come to understand existence and its beauty and its fragrance, there are ancient wisdoms like Lord Shiva and his memories, like you were talking about in the Puranas, that just offer us so much into reflect. So I come to reflect, and these temples are designed with sacred geometry and empowered sound therapies and ongoing prayers that have an effect to our body and quickly heal us rapidly. So why do we discover this? Why Shiva? And what is Shiva? For me, I'll say something about Shiva. You say something about Shiva, okay? So for me, knowing that there is time in my life where Shiva showed up, I just knew. I didn't understand it. And then I came to understand it through 30 years of reflecting with the divine. And a lot of it came through many meditations and practices where I learned to trust the cosmos within me. I learned to trust the wisdom that teachers were showing me. And then there was time to see what is a true master, what is a master, what is divine, what is love. And those are measured in so many ways when we're on this journey with God and the benevolence of the unknown. And so to each individual, I'm sure we all have a timing when we have a chance to come to Shiva. But what I love about Shiva is how it entered my life. It reminded me in the multiples of ways that it pulled me through divine friends, the awakening that happened through my body, and just the knowing. And the knowing, but it's been a practice. Yoga's been a practice. So in my practice, there are things I learned within myself, observing inside myself, that all of the things that you're learning and all the things that we're talking about and all the things that we're discovering, they actually are real.
Yeah.
Talk about what your feelings about Shiva.
Like, I 100% agree with you that.
Can you talk a little bit louder? It's a little bit quiet.
Yeah, so I agree with you that one thing is all, I think what common I found with Shiva devotees is that they have a certain sense of knowing things. I've been a Krishna Bhakt for most part of my life, and I could fit in Krishna into every relationship. But with Shiva, even if I try to, I can't. He's whole me. Even when I try to describe it, the best way I can describe is it that Shiva works from me. He flows within me and does everything. Shakti flows within me. That's the relationship that I share with Shiva. When I look at him or when I close my eyes to meditate, I do not have to visually see him or feel him. It's just knowing that I am there, I am in him. He is within me. That is how elevated Shiva has lifted my consciousness till he has come in my life, and I can see this growing. He has made me meet beautiful souls which have enlightened me in my path in such beautiful manner that now the ancient knowledge, I used to tell my family that we have forgotten what we have forgotten. So all the knowledge, the truth, the revelations, the gyan, the real bhakti, the real purpose, Shiva is making channels for each and everything at the right time with his power to create that in my life. That's what Shiva is. this experience, which I feel every second, I can't even say it.
You know what's so beautiful? I'll break down a couple of things that I learned on my journey with meditation. Is the Buddhists talk about the fourth, and I spent 10 years in my sadhana with Buddha and with Master Osho, very, very, very deeply. And I thought I arrived, and I know that existence is just going to shed upon me my enlightenment, because I was already tasting the cosmos and my Kundalini rising and the opening of my chakras. And over the last 30 years, I've been able to see it's real. The pathway of an enlightenment through our internal body, and then the external body and our desires and what the mind is, and suffering and happiness. And when I come to see there is another chapter to finish this journey with moksha, there's a strength of God that's always been finding me. It's far more stronger than what I was having in my relationship with Buddha. And it's also just as pure, but it's so much more vast, the consciousness, and dissolving in that beauty of God. I've experienced it in the last couple of years. So I'm just on this journey to continue learning and to continue to share and to continue to sacrifice for these next couple months, because when you taste that beauty, that benevolence, or that light of God, or even the darkness, when you dissolve into it, with Shiva, I only could see purity. So it helps you to overcome fear of darkness, and it allows you to know the expansion of light, and that you're always being protected, and that we have the ability with this love that Mahadev has to reflect, to learn from that love, that unconditional love of Godhead, and apply it to more moments of our life. And I believe that's what I'm going to do for the next 2 months, is continue to chant Om Trayambakam Yajamohe Sugandham Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhana Mrityo Mukshi Amamrita. Could you put here mantras?
Yeah.
Maha Mrityo Yan Jaya mantra.
Yes, and there's also Bara Shivling mantra that can be recited. Om Namah Shivaya, we all do. These three are really powerful and something that just rapidly increases your vibration and clears your aura. And it's all again on what your intention is. The more you open your heart chakra, the more love and the more devotion you put into it, the more rapidly you will feel lifted, or you don't even have to. So what I say is that I remove the outcome from it. When I do that and I experience. So, when we say that this helps in this helps in this, God knows things that are not visible to you, that are not known to you. So Shiva knows the unknown, he knows the unconscious. So when I say that this lifts up, he may remove blocks, he may lift you up of the darkness you might not even know that exists within you or around you. So that's the power of these mantra. And just to add to what you said, yes, it is as above, so below. Without the darkness, without not realizing the darkness within you, around you, and how you have contributed to it, you can't rise to light. So it goes both ways. But it's a beautiful journey, and I'm so happy to have beautiful friends like you, my family, your lovely family, to help us all through it.
Well, I'm so glad that we could start talking because I've been very itchy about doing this for a very long time. So itchy. Like I'm itchy, Shiva. Come on, let's get this started. You know what the beautiful thing is that we start something and transform it, and to give out this ability to reach more people, sharing their Shiva Shakti Sangha, sanctuary. These are the things that are growing in my heart from Ma Parvati. And so much more to come, audience. You know, we just talked your ears off about our journey and little things that mean things to us, that there might be hidden messages in between where you relate to yourself when you see us talk openly in this podcast, being ourselves and being spontaneous. I want to thank you, Shraddha, for coming in to the Heart-Based Community Podcast. It's such a pleasure to be with you also, and to have your friendship, to learn, to grow, and the mystery of Bhagwan.
I'm just starting off, and I hope we tried our best. More to go. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
So much love. We'll see each other soon. Namaste, guys.